Beautiful people, welcome back to another vlog. For those new here, my name's Peter. Some call me Pilot P. I'm a Boeing 767 pilot, and we got a trip, one-day trip tomorrow. It's actually a pretty terrible trip for me as a commuter. I have to jump seat to Memphis for an afternoon departure to go down to Miami, lay over in Miami, and then Friday fly back to Memphis just to jump seat, deadhead back. So it's gonna be a lot of commuting for not that much pay, but part of the gig, part of living at a base. Gotta do what we gotta do. So I'm all packed up, ready to go for tomorrow. Got my suitcase ready to go, but I figured since it's just a short trip, I'll obviously show you guys that, bring you along for the ride. I've been talking about this standing bid that's been out at my company for a while now. So I was gonna show you kind of how it works, what we do, how I input it. It's pretty simple, but I'll kind of show you what's going on. They extended the bid. So it was gonna close on, I think yesterday, which would have been October 1st. When this vlog comes out, it'll be Sunday. So they're gonna be closing it October 7th on a Monday. So this vlog will come out, and then the next day, you guys will have to wait another full week to get the results. But I appreciate, first off, everyone who's put in their recommendations, helped me with pros and cons. Obviously, I have personal ones that I'm talking over to with my loved ones and family and friends and all that to figure out what's best for me. But you guys, some of you made some great points. So as it sits here, I'll show you right now. So here is the standing bid as we have it. So as you can see, basically how it works is you put your preferential order, rank 1 through 60, and you can even actually put more than 60. And the reason you can do that is because you can put in your base and equipment. So here we have our options. We have Memphis 777, Anchorage 777, Memphis 767, Indianapolis 767, Oakland 767, Memphis Airbus 300, Memphis MD-11, LAX MD-11, Anchorage MD-11, Europe 757, which I don't know why they have that, base is closed, and then Memphis 757. So my number one choice, I go in, I select Memphis 777. Next, your seat. So do you want to be a captain or first officer? I'd rather make the big bucks, so I select captain, and then it says what percentile. So this is kind of the confusing part for some people, and this is basically where you would be bidding in that seat if the bid were to close. So the lower percentile, the better. If you're at 5%, that means you only have 5% pilots in front of you, meaning you'd get your very, 5% top choice. 100% means you're mostly likely gonna be on reserve. You're gonna get whatever is left over and pretty much have a kind of a stinky schedule. Well, being a 777 captain at 100%, that to me is worth the terrible schedule. So I'm gonna put that as my first choice. Number 2, Memphis 767 captain, because why not make the big bucks again at 100%? Number 3rd option is Indianapolis 767 captain. Again, I don't mind commuting if I have to become a captain on a wide body. For me, it'd be worth it. Number 3 choice, or number 4, I should say, is Oakland 767 captain. Yes, be awful, terrible commute, but again, for me, the money that would come from that, plus the way you can manipulate your schedule here at this company, it's worth it to gamble for a captain position there. But realistically, based on my seniority, none of these captain positions are actually really plausible. But I will say this, you learn this very early on in the airline world, bid for what you want, not for what you can hold. So what that means is people go, oh, I'll never get this, and they'll put it in as their selection, then get it and be like, what the heck? I didn't actually want this. I didn't think I could hold it. Shame, shame, shame. Bid for what you want, not for what you can hold. So I really do want a captain position. I would love to have one. But again, it's not really realistic, but I would not be mad if I got awarded it. Now back to the bid. My 5th choice and the first realistic, we're going Memphis 777 FO at 100%. Again, I know what most of you said, hey, reserve isn't gonna be great, but I've been following the schedules, tracking guys that are right RMI seniority, and most of them get pretty good trips in the 777 seat because I don't think I'd be 100%, I'd be a little bit above that. So I just put in, because I'll give you the closest, I basically put in for 100 or better. So if I'm at 90, 80, 70, so on and so forth, I would get it. 100's the highest you can obviously go. So we're fingers crossed for that. And then sixth and final is what my current position is, Memphis 767 FO. I'm not at 100%, I'm at like 50 or 60% right now, but putting it 100% just allows me to stay there in case anything crazy happened. I would be locked into the 767. And what I mean by that is my current seniority would pretty much stay the same. So I'm at, like I said, 55, 60%. Even if pilots senior to me came over to the 767 FO and pushed me up backwards, the 100% locks me in saying like, hey, I want to stay at 767 no matter what. Even if a bunch of pilots bump me up 80, 90, 100%, I want to stay there. So that's how my bid is. It's pretty simple. Like I said, you can get crazy with it, being like, hey, I want Memphis 777, but only at 50%. Well, if you don't get awarded that, then I want Memphis 767 at 60%. Okay, but if I don't get 60%, then I'd rather have the 777 at 80%. Pilots can get very, very detailed with it, and as they should. It's our lives, so I totally understand it. For me, it's pretty simple. I want the triple. I decided not to go for the Oakland 767 to get all the Asia flying for two reasons. One, the commute would be terrible, and to do it as an FO, not worth it. And even deadheading, even though I'd be first class, getting paid to deadhead all the way to Asia, it would just, I know, put a wear and tear in my body. I guess doesn't really say much, because the 777 would be the same. But I digress. Oakland just wasn't for me. There's a lot of trips that start and end out of Oakland once in a while, and just that commute, not getting paid. I don't like the Memphis commute as it is. The Oakland one would be terrible. So the commute's in. That's what we have locked in. Like I said, when this vlog comes out, it'll be finalized the next day, so you'll have to wait for the results till the following week. You follow me on Instagram, though, I'll probably announce it on that one. But anyway, we're all packed, ready to go. It's bedtime. I got a jump seat to Memphis tomorrow morning, and then the trip starts. So as always, you want to come along for the ride? Let's go do it. Good morning. Just woke up. We got about 20 minutes or so we got to head to Newark to catch the company jump seat to Memphis. It's a 767 ride. I woke up this morning and there was an open time trip that took me to deadhead to Europe, fly inter Europe for like 7 or 8 days and then back. Paid well, first class tickets there and back. I put in for it, but didn't get it because I was slow on the trigger. So it's all right. We're gonna stick with Newark and Miami this month, I guess. But here's the breakfast this morning. We went with 2 eggs, some turkey bacon, and then Sonia made some banana pancakes because I'll be gone for a couple of days. So I got my little pancakes ready to go. We'll get ready. Jump seats on the 767 this morning. Should be a full house. Got some Netflix downloaded. Maybe I'll take a nap or two, and next stop will be Memphis. We made it to the Uber. I left my apartment early, which is pretty unheard of. So we got plenty of time to get to Newark ramp to jump seat on the 767, but I just wanted to explain the picking up of trips. So how it works at my company, every day at 7 a.m. local time in Memphis, our headquarters, all the sick time drops fall into open time. So basically, if a pilot's out sick, out on medical, military leave, well, for whatever reason, the pilot just no longer gonna do that trip, it drops the day before, it drops into an open time pot, maybe 8 o'clock my time. So basically all these trips pop up and it's first come, first serve, and then it's based on like legality and things like that. So the reason I wasn't able to get it was just too slow. They gave you a crew notification, I put in for it, it says processing request, and then anywhere from a minute later to 2 hours later, it'll tell you if you got it, and if you didn't get it, why you didn't get it. So it said, Peter, you were denied that Europe trip because earlier timestamp. So someone was just quicker on the trigger, which makes sense because a Europe trip mid-month, October, the junior guys like myself can't hold those. So it's gonna go in less than a second. It's exactly what happened. I probably put it in for it 0.2 seconds too late, but oh well, it's okay. Everything happens for a reason. So we're leaving beautiful New York City. It's nice and cool. I don't want to leave, but like I said last night, it's just a day trip. I'll be gone for only the day, or a night I should say. I leave today. The trip's not great for a commuter. Pete, well, why would you want to do this trip? I don't. To be honest with you, I don't want to do it because it really isn't worth, the juice isn't worth the squeeze. But if you watch my last vlog, I told you how we lost a lot of our day flying. So normally, if it's for over the summer and I had no trips before and after this Miami turn that I'm about to do, I would just drop this trip, someone would pick it up, and I wouldn't get paid, but it would all be good. It would save me the double commute back and forth. But the fact that we don't have that much day flying, I promised myself that if it takes me a few more commutes to get to work, to and from, but I get to stay with my body clock flying days, I'm gonna do it. So we're on our way to Newark to jump seat, unfortunately, or fortunately, depending on how you look at it. So positive attitude today, folks. Made it to the ramp in Newark, beautiful day. Sad though, not as many airplanes as there used to be. We're heading to gate 31 over there. So jump seating on my company is a little bit different than the normal passengers just because we don't have terminals. So they do provide rides for us out there. But I figured Northeast New York, it's the beginning of October, it's beautiful out. This ain't gonna last forever, so take advantage of it as I can, get my steps in, walking a little bit. There's the 7.6 being loaded. Make sure I don't get hit by any trucks or anything like that. Got airplanes taking off. So it'll be 2.5 hours. I got some movies downloaded. I'm hoping, it doesn't look like it is, there's a chance this bird is an ETOP plane and it has the sleeper cans in the back. This way I can get horizontal and lay down. That would be ideal. Otherwise, we'll be sitting in the, it's comfortable, but it's not the most ideal place to sit for 2.5 hours, but it's a free ride to work, so we won't complain too much. See you guys in Memphis. All right, folks, we got some good news. The plane does have the sleeper bunks. So, this will be my ride to work today. The 2 bunks on the 7.6, bottom, top. There's another jump seater that's gonna be in here with me. So he's senior to me, the 777 captain. He'll be taking the bottom bunk. So we're just about getting ready to take off. But yeah, it's my favorite place to lay out. It's super quiet. It's actually pretty comfortable. I mean, it beats an economy seat and a normal first class seat on domestic carriers. It's actually more comfortable and bigger than like lay flats on like an international flight on whatever airline. The only thing that stinks is you don't get meal service or a TV. But yeah, otherwise, like I said, very, very comfortable to sleep. You don't hear any of the dinging, any noise. It's a pretty unique kind of setup. There's lights, air conditioning, so we'll be good to go. But yeah, asked the captain, she said no problem. Off we go. Let's do it. Made it to Memphis nice and safe. Went out to my standard Whole Foods, Target, got myself a salad with some chicken. Currently in the cafeteria, and from the first time ever in my 4+ year career here, I can talk on my phone because it is completely empty as far as the eye can see. So it's actually kind of sad. It's a little bit depressing because that means our flying has gone from a lot to very little in a short amount of time because of that postal contract I told you guys about on the last vlog. So day flying is far and few between. I think there's only like 6 or 7 flights on the 767 out of Memphis today. So I'm fortunate enough to have one of them to Miami, but that's why, you know, like I said in the beginning of this video, commuting all the way to Memphis, 2.5 hours just to fly one leg overnight, fly one back, and then deadhead, and then commute home isn't really worth my time. But I don't like flying at night, and it really screws with my sleep schedule. So this may be the new normal for the foreseeable future, especially if the 777 doesn't happen. So it is what it is. probably tell I'm a little bummed. Just had a conversation with another pilot who we were talking about just the change of things, and it's kind of eerie and unsettling for us pilots that want to fly and make money and have good trips and better quality of life. So just a road bump, fingers crossed, and I guess we'll see. So enough moping though. Gonna finish my salad and then head to the gym. Still nursing that injury, so got my canes on, and then we'll head to the company headquarters gym just to do some stretching. Maybe I'll ride the bike for a little bit just to move the blood around before 2 hours down to Miami. And supposed to meet up with my buddy. He's a captain based in Miami at a different airline, but it's a high holiday for him today, so we might not be able to meet up. He said he'll let me know when I land. But yeah, flying starts in about 45 minutes, or the show time at least, and then the flying starts after that. So we will see you out on the ramp in a little bit. Beautiful people from the ramp in Memphis, Tennessee. We're out here pre-flight in the 767. Starting to get a little loud. We got an MD-11 taxiing right outside of us. There she goes. Look at that beast. One leg down to Miami. Typical summer, even though it's fall, most parts of the country. Typical Miami summer, thunderstorms popping up, closing up routes, but we got plenty of gas on board to get us to where we need to go. Flown with this captain before, great guy. He's high mins, just came over from the 757. He was in our Germany base, so high mins just means if we have to shoot an approach on the minimums, there's usually 200 feet above the ground. High mins means they'll be 300 feet above the ground, 100 feet extra. But figured I'd show you guys a little bit more of the 7.6 today, since we don't have the noise of the loaders going right now. Here's the wheel well. So some airplanes, when you go positive rate, gear up, if you ever watch like a 737 flying over you, you'll actually see the black wheels, the circles, underneath the belly of the airplane, because the gear, they actually go flush with the airplane belly. The 767, among a lot of other planes too, I believe all the Airbuses too, have gear doors that cover them up, so you will not see the tires. So it's always one way you can tell you want to impress your friends while you're sitting at the beach or hanging out wherever. You see an airplane flying overhead that just took off, so it's still pretty low where you can see it. If you can see tires, it's gonna be a 737, or obviously it could be like a different type of jet. But if it's like between an Airbus or a 737, you'll know it's a 737 if you can see the tires. And then I'm 6'4", so I can't walk underneath it without hitting my head. I have to duck. But it's about 6 feet off the ground right here. Tires are up to like my waist, so they're like 3 feet off the ground. We got the beacon light over here. That's to let the world know we're starting our engines. And then these powerful suckers. I feel like when I watch these vlogs back, the engine doesn't really look as big as it really is. I don't know if it's because of the camera or just my overall giantness, but I'll kind of show you. Like I said, I'm 6'4". I'll put my camera down and show you guys a little bit better perspective. All right, enough of that. There's an E-Tops bird that we're flying over to Miami. Although the coffee maker is inoperative, so no hot coffee for the flight. I don't drink it anyway, so no problems there. Enough blabbering, time to go to work. Just under 2 hours. Next stop is Miami, Florida. Just made it to Miami, Florida. Nice flight. No real thunderstorms. We had to deviate around or anything like that. But we did have a little gotcha for those pilots on here, or anyone who wants to know about our arrivals into airports. We were cleared to descend via the Coastal to RNAV. And as you can see, there's all these points. These altitudes are mandatory by ATC, speeds, all that good stuff. So the center said descend via. The ATIS said they were landing 8 left and right and 12. Well, where our ramp is, runway 8 left is our best runway. The reason I'm bringing this up is a little kind of gotcha is we put in the transition for 8 left, 8 right, assuming that's where we're going to be landing. Well, 8 left and 8 right actually have different points. Romney, Madonna, Tupac, and 12 has Capone and Chum. So, long story short, we were lucky enough to catch this little note here. It says, landing east, use runway 12 transition. Landing west, use 26 right. So, we had to go into the FMS, figure out all these points, make sure that they all checked. Gucci, all the high-end fashion and cool stuff in Miami, I guess is what that's named after. So it ended up being no problem for us, but it's definitely a gotcha because those notes are kind of like hidden. I highlighted it, and for those who don't fly, you'd say, well, Pete, why don't you read it every time? We do read it every time, but they can kind of be like very, how do you say the word, like monotonous and like the same thing over and over. So usually it's kind of a glance over. So luckily we caught that, no issues, landed runway 8 left, no problem. And then taxiing to our gate, we're here. My buddy who flies captain for different airlines is gonna pick up myself and the captain. Invited the captain to come along. So actually someone wrote in my last vlog, you never eat with the captain, why not? I don't think they maybe said it with that tone. They just asked the question very nicely, hey, do you eat with the crew a lot? And I always say it's like 60-40, I usually don't. Just in the sense of like I like to do my own thing. I have friends in a lot of different cities I like to go see. And then just like the age gap a lot of the times. But this captain and I have a lot in common, and I invited him to come. He said absolutely. So I'm gonna change out of the flight uniform, and then I'll introduce you. I said that he had to be on the vlog though if he's coming to dinner. So it could be the first ever captain that I flew with on the vlog. So stay tuned for that. And then, like I said, my other buddy is he's an Airbus A320 captain about to transition to the 737. So you'll meet both of them. Let's go have some dinner. My apologies, folks. You're gonna think I'm a liar. I just didn't have dinner with any friends, with the captain. I swear I did. I just forgot to take out the phone and vlog it. That's a my bad thing. It's unacceptable, and I hope you forgive me. We had quite the adventure. My buddy took us to a sushi restaurant. It was a long wait, so I went to a different restaurant, a longer wait, and that sushi restaurant called us back, said our table was ready. We went. I got in there. I realized it was like real sushi, not like American sushi, and I can't eat that stuff. So I was like, I can't eat here. So we bailed and went to a different sushi restaurant, and it was terrible. And overall, it was a good night because of the company. Food was awful. And now it's 11 p.m. because it took us a long time. So I'm gonna barely get what I try to get, my 8 hours in bed for 7 hours of sleep. But that's okay. We got one leg tomorrow morning. I will do my best. Hopefully Captain is okay with being on the vlog. We'll ask him tomorrow. We're at the jet. But short layover here in the Miami area. Always great catching up with my buddy. 11 p.m. bedtime. Good night. I'll see you tomorrow morning on the ramp. Beautiful people. Good morning from Miami, Florida. Still dark out, as you can tell. Sun's about to be coming up over the beach there. We're about an hour prior to departure, so we just sat down in the jet, and I want to show you a little bit. I just did my walk around for the 7.6, take the tie off, and get ready for our flight up to Memphis. It's the only leg of the day. Basically, how it works is first officer is in charge of doing the walk around, exterior, all the interior checks, so oxygen masks, safety equipment, O2 masks, and then make sure the catering's on board. That's like super important. Get our hydration ready to go, which we're all set. And then the captain, while I'm doing that, is getting ready inside. So he just emitted our ACARs and basically let the company know that we were here, and then everything else kind of happens from the box. So captain's making sure the database is all good in the FMS. We got to make sure the date checks, and now he's entering the position for where we are. So our every flight, you have to make sure the airplane knows where it's at by putting in the airport the GPS coordinates, and then it just locks in what gate we're at, where we are at the airport, so that it can have accurate information moving forward. And then basically this is the brains of the operation. So every couple of minutes we're going to get some dings, some messages. Some are automated, some come from dispatch. This is just letting us know that, hey, make sure that your tail number when you put in for the CDPLC matches your tail number of your actual airplane. So this is an automated message. I just accept that, and then my job is going to be to get the weather. So ATIS, departure ATIS, so I request it, make sure it's the most current from Miami, Florida. Nice day today, no hurricane, which is always nice in Miami. Comes pretty quick. It's called digital ATIS, so we don't have to listen to any frequencies to get that. And this is coded in, I call it airplane or pilot talk, but KMIA is Miami Departure Information X-ray. So every hour, unless there's new information, comes a new letter. So we're doing X-ray X. This is the time it came out, 10:24 Zulu. It's currently 11 a.m. Zulu. Then we got the wind, so 020 at 3, so it's coming from the north at 3 knots. Visibility, 10 statute miles. That's the greatest it will go. It will never go more than 10 miles. Then we got scattered clouds, 2,500 cumulonimbus. So I look outside and you can see those cumulonimbus clouds at about 2,500. Broken at 12,000 feet, overcast at 16,000 feet. You always add 2 zeros. That's the temperature, 28 degrees Celsius. Dew point is 24. Altimeter is 2,998. So then I come up to my baro set right here. Captain's doing his, and then it switches these numbers right here. It sets the pressure altitude of 2,998. I get the ATIS. I'm going to print that. It's already been printed. Nice cap. And it comes out right here. So we have it printed.
TCAS test.
Captain's going through his test. Just did a TCAS test, and that is testing our TCAS system.
TCAS test. Pass.
That's passed. We like to see that. And I just got an ATIS request. It might be a new one, so there you go. So we got information Lima now. That's arrival information though, so I'm not going to worry about that. They change it for arrivals and destinations. And then the next thing I'm doing is I'm going into the performance page, which is going to be in the ACARS menu. And got a new message. So valid flight plan release number 1. I make sure the captain sees that as well. He said it's good. We can acknowledge it. And then I'm going to go to performance. Look at our runways that we're going to be departing. We're departing the 8s, so I'm going to do 8 left and 8 right, because we're not exactly sure which one we'll get until ground assigns us one. And then that's as far as I can really go, because I have to wait until we get our weight and balance information and our cans are loaded and know how much weight's going to be on the airplane. So that's a 5%, 10% of what we got to do to get ready for our flight. Like I said, we'll check over the weather, we'll brief it, and next stop will be Memphis. Here's our route of flight today, Miami up to Memphis. All this red just means there's some convective activity. Convective just means no bueno, thunderstorms, but that's typical Miami, South Florida weather this time of year. As you can see over the Gulf, there's some nasty stuff too, but our flight plan doesn't take us really over that, just over the Panhandle through, I think that's Montgomery, so Alabama, and then up to Memphis, Tennessee. Right now they have us departing via the Hurricane 4, so So I just scroll, find the Hurricane 4. It's gonna be my leg off of runway 8 left that we're planning on. There's the instructions, climb on heading 092. So I see that. I come up to the heading and just select 092 there. Then direct to sea salt. So one of the nice things about the 767, I always tell people, it's the higher you get up, meaning the bigger airplanes you fly, the more automated it gets. So clearance, you don't have to talk to anyone. You just go to ATC and exactly 30 minutes prior to departure. So our departure time scheduled for 11:45. So this came in literally 43 seconds ago. Our clearance already comes up. So it's pretty sweet. Again, it just saves communication between the tower and pilots and saves us the energy. You don't really talk to anyone. It just clears us exactly what we were filed. So our flight plan cleared to the Memphis airport via the Hurricane 4 departure, smells transition, then as filed. That's this chart right here that I was just showing you guys before. So we'll brief this up. We're going out to smells. Then this is as filed. So that's back to the flight plan that our dispatcher filed for us. Q116 Googie Wasser Van's arrival. Climb via the SID. So the SID says top altitude's 5,000. So as soon as I see that, we come up here into the altitude controller and make sure 5,000 is set. Bingo. Expect flight level 380 10 minutes after departure. So that's just our final cruise altitude. If heaven forbid we lost any radio communications, that's what we climb to. And then the departure frequency is 119.45. So we throw that our standby radio number 3 back here, just as a reminder for us to switch to departure after takeoff. And then our squawk, this is how they identify each individual aircraft flying through the system and the airspace around the world. So our squawk is 2326. So I'll come up here, 2326, have it on the TCAS above. It's gonna be on the right side because it's my leg. Captain flew us down here, so I'll take us back up to Memphis. And then it just says ground control frequency is 121.8 for contacting ground. That ends the message. The captain and I both read it. He just gave me a thumbs up. So we accept that and we wait for a response, either Roger or Wilco, meaning that we answered it and ATC knows it. So there's our Roger, and we're good to go. So we've pretty much done as much as we can do as far as getting the airplane all ready to go. It's pretty much all set up. So I'm enjoying some of our delicious 5-star catering right now. Some fruit, yogurt, sandwich, and some cereal. We're about 15 minutes away from scheduled departure. We obviously want to get out of here on time or early if we can. We're ready. We're waiting for them to finish loading the airplane. So we can't move on to pretty much our last and final step, which is the takeoff performance. The reason we can't do that is we need to get our weights to know our speeds, our climb gradients, all that stuff. So until the cans are fully loaded, ready to go, and they have a final mark of how much fuel's on board, how much cargo's on board, all that stuff, they'll ding us, we'll get a bing, and that way we can finish off our performance by getting our weight and balance in there, and then we'll brief our takeoff speeds, our climb gradient, our flap settings, all that stuff. So that's pretty much the last thing we're waiting on, and then we'll be out of here. Just got our weight and balance information. I typed in, it started to rain here, as you can see by our windscreen. So I changed the runway conditions to wet, and look at that. 5 seconds later, our perf information comes out. It's all pretty automated. I put in for both runways. We're planning on 8 left, so I'm gonna print the page here, and then all I have to do is hit load, and then it's automatically gonna shoot over to the FMS, all the takeoff information. So everything's very, very automated. Captain looks over it, accepts it, and then it's the same thing with our speeds and everything like that. He'll accept those speeds once he likes the information. Gives us our CG, our trim settings, our V speeds, takeoff weight, flap settings, thrust, and then all that information is printed out here. We'll both verify it and make sure it is good to go. So one of the last things we get is our dangerous good kind of paperwork, since we carry a lot of dangerous goods. So things that are flammable, combustible, what's the other stuff that's not good that we carry? Stuff that will catch fire easily, nuclear stuff. So you got to make sure it's secure on board, the right amounts on there, all that good stuff. And we're just closing up the last cargo door, as we can see from here. Cargo doors are getting closed, and then next stop will be Memphis. It'll be my leg, and then depending on how we do, we'll ask the captain how my landing was when we get to Memphis. So next stop, see you there. Hello from Memphis, Tennessee. Beautiful flight, all worked out. I hope you guys enjoyed the cockpit setup there. Captain was super nice to allow me to kind of film it and talk. We had plenty of time, so it was nice to kind of be able to do that. And hopefully you guys enjoyed that kind of sneak peek of how we get the airplane all set. 2 hours later, we landed here in Memphis. We're on my 3-6 right. As you can see, it's a beautiful day in the neighborhood. Not a cloud in the sky, 0 wind, so easy landing conditions. Captain didn't grade me on this one, so I'm gonna have to self-critique. 9.7 out of 10. It was nice, folks. You would have all been clapping in the back if you were on board with me. But yeah, that's the one-day trip. Like I said, it kind of stinks that I had to commute all the way here just for this one trip, but I'll get rewarded later on with some better trips. Hopefully, that's how I look at it. So the job is done. Now it's my turn to commute home. That's what kind of stinks as a commuter. It's currently 10 a.m. local time. I'm done with work, but I probably won't get back to New York till closer to 4 p.m., 5 p.m. because I either got to take a company jump seat, which isn't until 3 p.m., which would be a lot of sitting around here, or I'm gonna head over to the passenger terminal, and there's a regional jet that flies to LaGuardia at 12, so I got about 2 hours. All right, now the fun actually starts. Commuting home, that's a joke. This is the worst part of the job by far. Again, self-induced because I choose to live in a different city, but I texted my buddy who flies for the airline, who I'm gonna try jump seating on. The flight is oversold by 6 people. There are 2 people on standby. Now, I'm not sure if one of those 2 standby passengers is a pilot. If they are, then I am screwed, and the jump seat will not be mine. That's kind of what I'm banking on right now. So those who are curious, yes, I can jump seat on any airline for free. So that's the goal, is probably not gonna get a seat, probably gonna be crammed into a CRJ for the next 3 hours, but gotta do what you gotta do to get to work. So fingers crossed. First step is KCM, and then really hoping for this jump seat to LaGuardia. The joys of commuting. Did not make it on the flight. Terrible decision making by myself. I was starving, so I stopped to go get a sandwich. Another pilot with a different airline was in front of me to list for the jump seat. He got the last freaking seat on board, and the jump seat was taken by a company guy doing a line check or doing something. So stuck here for another 2 hours, wasting away, editing my vlog that will be out this Sunday by the time this one that I'm talking on comes out. So I guess I'm not wasting away, but nothing stinks more than not getting paid and sitting in an airport, especially for someone who spends hours and days and weeks, it feels like, at airports for his livelihood. Next flight's a different airline, same airport, LaGuardia. It's in about an hour and a half from now, and then if that doesn't work out, I got the company jump seat in like 2 hours from now. So let's hope it doesn't come down to that. But yeah, this is the not so glamorous part of being a commuter airline pilot. All right, we made it on, folks. Kind of unlucky though, we got the jump seat. Hey, it's a free ride though, can't complain too much. Work ended hours ago, but still not even close to home. Fingers crossed we're not delayed and we get to make it. We made it back to New York City. That was a sweet view. I will say the miserable seat of the jump seat in the CRJ was terrible for 2 hours and 30 minutes. The last 3 minutes there, flying down the Hudson River. Those are some pretty cool views. You can't beat them. So you want to see those? Become a pilot. You won't regret it, I promise. But as always, hope you enjoyed the vlog. Until next time, be safe, and I'll see you.